This week on the Modified World, it's the return of our old friend Pierre doing a triple forward Helix. So stay tuned. Hi, welcome to the Modified World. It's the weekly web show about body modification. People who do it, people who get it, and why it matters. I'm your host. I'm the senior piercer at the world-renowned Pangea Piercing. Beautiful sunny downtown Ann Arbor, Michigan. I pervade internet wackiness. At least so they tell me. And this week, I'm proud to bring back the return of Pierre.
That's how it's supposed to be. I like it. It's super cute.
Woo. All right, here, let me get a little close up. Holes. Oh, look at that. Look how straight and pretty. So what do you think?
Love it.
Was comparing and contrasting Pierre versus the last person who pierced you. What do you think?
I think it's in the right spot. And
Right on.
yeah. It's like I wanted it to be.
I appreciate you being a good sport.
Thank you.
And letting us stab you and letting you run some film and stuff too. Now, we love having him back. He's a good dude. One of my favorite people, actually. Not only that, but it's just, nice to have somebody around too that, is, a little more open to the idea of getting wacky on the internet. As time goes on, see, I used to think, I thought for a while that it was just about, people being nervous about being seen, since I've got, 100,000 plus subscribers now, that people were not letting me film because they didn't want to be seen on the internet, or on, being out there. And I'm starting to realize too, after talking to folks, it's really not, that's only part of it. The other part of it is the actual malevolent nature of social media is starting to become really pretty much impossible to ignore, unfortunately. So much with, we find out almost every week about how, some Silicon Valley tech company is doing what they can to try to censor or modify or screw people over or something like that. And it's really a terrible thing. people get a unfortunately skewed perspective when they're on the internet all the time, because, well, virtually everywhere on the internet is very, very carefully managed. You know, say the wrong thing and you're instantly banned and shadow banned and your account deleted, and you probably wind up on a list somewhere. Not a good situation, because honestly it kind of insulates people from reality, because the reality is well, you know, there are a lot of folks out there that may have opinions that you might not necessarily like, but being unexposed to them doesn't actually help you in any way, shape, or form. What it does is it actually lulls you into a false sense of security, thinking that there's a false consensus, an idea that people actually are thinking the same thing or all on the same page, when that's actually not the case. I talk to people all the time in the real world, and I listen to them. And I'll tell you, it's a pretty vast difference from what you see put forth by, you know, big corporations, big media, you know, big social media, big status quo. Pretty radically different. I don't think that most people are really actually on board with it. They're just doing what they can to try to make it seem that way. Kind of a bummer too, man, because it's like, it doesn't lead to good things. You know, back in the 80s, we were having this problem with censorship real bad. You know, once again, everybody kind of saw well, at least at the time, somewhat saw the evils and the ills of it and whatnot. But things have changed, you know, unfortunately. Not everybody actually prizes, you know, the free access to information and free speech and all that stuff. Not very many people actually do. It's kind of a situation that only a certain percentage of the globe even cares about that stuff. I do because I want to know, you know. Honestly, if you were to hate me, I'd rather know that you hate me rather than be under the false impression that you like me and you're just merely tolerating me or anything like that. I'd sooner know straight out. So that's why I say that necessarily not a good idea to actually, you know, to do all that. And I like to point it out to people as somebody who engages online all the time. You know, I see the toxic aspects of it, and it's not what you think. It gets put forth that the toxic aspects are all these, the bigotry and blah, blah, blah. No, the toxic aspect is hiding that from folks. It's, you know, not allowing that free flow of information because, you know, once again, leads you into false senses of believing that things are a way they're not really. You know, one of my favorite quotes is from Mark Twain. He said, it's not what you don't know that will hurt you. It's what you know for certain that just ain't so. Of course, I might be misquoting, but the quote is accurate in its, at least in its spirit. But hey, that was my show this week. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something, possibly entertained, maybe a little bit, you know. It's worth what you paid for it at the very least. I do this all the time, so if you haven't thrown me a subscription yet, you want to, because you hate to miss videos knowing what's not happening, or not knowing what's happening. You know what I meant. Anyway, stop back by next week for yet another episode of The Modified World.